I riff until the stream gets going in all the places and then gets plopped in at the dojo where we are having these conversations for the SMFA Summit. I do a little reloading to see if it is there. It is there! Hooray! Welcome back to the end of day 3 of our 11-day free showcase of some of my very favorite people on the planet. I'm Bonnie Gillespie, the author of Self-Management for Actors, and you are tuned in for the SMFA Summit. This is a delight. This is where we talk about creating the Hollywood we want. This is where I get to spend time air signing it up with some of my favorite people on the planet and bring the interviews to you so that you can be inspired and hopefully take action to move forward in pursuit of your dreams. Because we are constantly creating the Hollywood we want with our every move, our every decision, everything that we do. So hopefully we're going to, in these conversations, give you some new ideas about ways that you can have more fun, more joy along the way. I have plopped into the chat over here the Getting Gear for the Next Tier framework, which we will use to navigate these talks. One of the things that we do is take a look at where these conversations are landing on this framework. We have this system of things that we do as a part of Getting Gear for the Next Tier, our flagship membership program, the 100-day journey, where we work on our tools, our mindset, and our relationships, and all the subcategories that fall underneath that. And if you can, as these talks happen, notice where the topics go and where it seems most of the attention gets paid, and balance that to what maybe you think success looks like, or what advertising would have you believe is true about where you need to spend all your energy, where you need to put all your focus, where you need to be buying followers or creating a social media following that you don't even care about, or having the latest gimmick with your headshot or whatever. And, I have to get this power agent in order to have this opportunity. And so much of it is about the relationships, the enoughness, the boundaries, the self-care, the targeting, the nurturing, the consistency of it all. So there you go. Katie, thank you. I appreciate that you enjoy this color on me. I would love it if you could share where you're tuning in from. I am coming to you from Santa Monica, which is the ancestral and unceded land of the Tongva people. And I am also using pronouns she, her, hers. I invite you to both explore the land that you are occupying and which pronouns make you feel better self-expressed, and share those so that we can make sure that we are meeting each other in the places we would like to intersect. Wonderful. All right, so let's see who we've got coming in. We've got Judy back again. Judy, have you hit all of them? Have you hit all of them? Because this is talk number 9. Do I have that right? Are we on number 9 right now? Did we have 7, 8, 9 today? I think we may have. Keith is tuning in from the other room. That's true. He threatened to come in here, no pants, and be a part of the on-camera conversation. I encouraged him to stay in there in his no pants place in his man cave. So Judy has been to all of them. Emily, she, her, so excited for Keith. Emily, you gonna get some inside scoop today. You are gonna get some behind the scenes of what it is to be a part of Team Bonnie Gillespie. Katie, also she, her. They is cool too if you're feeling spicy, with love from the unceded land of the Mahicantuck. This is where now I get to take all of these places that you've introduced to me and go learn how to say these wonderful words and learn more about these people. That is part of my education that I'll take from here. Yes, Keith, no pants Johnson. That's right. That's right. Exactly. Deborah is back again. No pants Pisces, right? For sure. Thank you, Kelly. It is, let's see, I'm not sure if it's this one or this one you're liking. I like them all. This one is a lapis in honor of my mom. I know Taurus season just ended, but my mom, the Taurus, I know that's emerald, but my mom, the Taurus, always loved a lapis. And then this is sea glass. And I bought this from a designer on Instagram that I'm crazy about. And I just love the use of sea glass and repurposed plastics and things as jewelry. And so she's got some really cool stuff there. Let's see who else is tuning in and where from. Da, 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 da. Let's see. Tina, confirm what Keith says will be in the replay. Last year he had a heartfelt, resonating talk with us, then at the end told us it's going to be deleted and laughed. Tina, this will be in the replay. I promise you. What you're remembering from last year was that Keith hosted our closing ceremonies of the SMFA Summit. And that, just like this conversation, isn't saved. These live stream parts are not saved. The interviews are, and we have replays available for free to everyone who signed up for the summit at links below until May 31st. And at that time, they then move into the dojo, specifically into the SMFA Vault, which is exclusive to the members of Getting Gear for the Next Tier. And so for people who want ongoing access to all of this goodness and hundreds of other yumminesses in the vault, and of course the 100-day journey, please explore that. I see we've got a couple of people here in the chat who have registered to join us for our live round kicking off on June 1st. So if you would like to join us for our live round as well, which means Q&A support Zooms every 10 days, as well as a bonus for enrolling during the summit of a small group coaching Zoom, I encourage you to explore that link below on joining us for Getting Gear for the Next Tier. We're very excited to welcome you and have you in our world. So, beautiful people, this time out, I'm going to be bringing my husband to the stage. He's very special, and you're going to get to find out why. He doesn't usually spend a lot of time on camera or hanging out in front of the people, but you're about to get to experience a little bit of him and see why he is the luckiest man in the world and why I'm pretty lucky too. So this one's going to be really good. But yes, the recording will be saved for you. I can promise that. West informs me that lapis is a Jupiter stone. And of course, Jupiter has moved into Pisces. It is Jupiter day right this second. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling all the expansion. Jupiter and Pisces. I felt that shift a week ago when Jupiter moved into Pisces. I felt that shift. Faux show. But we could spend more time in the woo. We're not going to. There's a transcript of this interview below. Make sure you grab that if you like to read along. And also between our sessions, go explore all the goodies that we have in the giveaways page. I see quite a lot of you are replying in the threads there about wanting to be in the drawings, and I appreciate that. And of course, thank all of our sponsors and speakers for donating so many fantastic deals and offers and discounts and freebies to our population of ninjas. All right, I'm going to stop talking and let my man do some talking for a little bit. Y'all are going to enjoy this. Hi, everyone. This is interesting. I am bringing to you probably my very favorite person. And I actually mean that. And I know I always say everybody's my favorite, but this one probably is my favorite. This is my husband, Keith Johnson. Hi, honey.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Bonnie.
It's weird.
You're one of my favorite people too.
Wait, one of? All right. We're going to try not to have like a therapy session in the shape of an interview. We're going to try and actually have an interview, because as I looked at the wonderful people who are a part of the SMFA Summit, I thought I want Keith's voice in here and not just chirping from the background. I actually want to formalize a conversation with you. And I know that doesn't happen often. You're not usually seen in our world.
Right.
But your impact exists in our world immensely.
Yep.
Can you tell a little bit about your role in self-management for actors?
Sure. If nobody's heard this story before, wow, it's very exciting.
Some don't know.
It's very exciting. So I had a life, like a real life, like I bought a house and was married and had a kid and all of that stuff. And that life sort of fell apart in a very short span. And then I met Bonnie, and she and I started a relationship. We fell in love on the internet. And Bonnie convinced me through her very convincing ways that I had something to offer the entertainment industry out here. And so I moved from Michigan, where I was living at the time, out here to Los Angeles to be with her. And I had, at the time, no training and very, very little acting experience. I had done a community theater play, and I had done a play in college, and that kind of stuff. And she said, I tell you what, I think I got a handle on how this stuff works. why don't you just, and all of you married women out here are going to swoon here. So why don't you just do whatever I say and we'll see how this goes. And so I said, okay, sure. I don't have an ego built into this. I'm very confident in my manliness. And, a Marine, I earned my man card a long time ago. So I don't have a trouble with somebody who knows more about something giving me advice and telling me how to do things. I just do it. At the same time, Bonnie had sort of an advice column at Backstage where she was answering people's questions. And I don't know what you know about Bonnie, but she is a hoarder of information. And what she would do is when she would answer a question in a particularly astute, meaningful, or deep way, she would print it off from the internet. She would print it off and then keep it in a binder. And that way she could refer back to it whenever she needed to give similar advice, and she could give the same advice tweaked a little bit for the individual kind of a thing. And as I was having success in my early acting career by doing what she said, and as we were going through the advice she was giving, I looked at her and said, "Hey, Bonnie, I think all of this advice is a book." And she's like, no. This is just the stuff I keep. It's a reference for me. And I'm like,
so I can have an easier, more efficient time answering bajillion D emails. That's it.
And what happened was I said, no. I think this is a book. Now realize that by that time, Bonnie and I had been in a relationship in California for about a year, and we'd started our company together, Cricket Feet Incorporated, for the specific purpose of publishing her first book, Casting Cues, which is a collection of casting director interviews, which were her columns from Backstage put into book form and put out. So we had some experience of what it took to publish a book and all of that things. We had a distributor, which was great. And I said, I think this is a book, and I think we're going to publish it, and I think you're going to write it. And over the course of that summer, she put this stuff together. And so I am responsible for self-management for actors being in the world in two different ways. The first is I was the guinea pig that sort of proved the theory that she had, because my career as an actor took off stunningly quickly. It
didn't make sense.
It was amazing.
So much faster than I ever predicted. Yeah.
Bonnie and I had laid out 5-year plans that were accomplished in 6 months.
Let's speak to Keith's credit on that. It's because Keith didn't come to Hollywood with a set of expectations. His entire world was come be with this woman and see if this showbiz thing is a part of my life. He actually said the words, "If I ever get paid to be an actor, I will shit my pants." Like that, he was like, that was the criteria for like that actually could not possibly happen in his world. And he was paid to be on a set within weeks of landing here. Mm-hmm. Things happened so fast. But I think it's specifically because he did not have any kind of junk in his head around what should happen or how things should go, or no, this won't work, and talking himself out of things. And I'm talking about Keith as if he's not here, but to just share with y'all watching, I think that really is at the core of why things worked so quickly.
I didn't have any energy invested in how things should go. I just showed up ready to serve, basically. And amazingly enough, if you show up with hey, how can I help out? People respond to that like really well. So to answer your question, I am responsible for self-management for actors and the self-management for actors theories because I invented them.
Both as the guinea pig and the person who made sure the book got out into the world, that it even became a book and not just a collection of best versions of answers to questions via email and message boards.
Right. And so I'll deliver the pat phrase that was the turning point in Self-Management for Actors getting published. Bonnie said to me, no, because I said, Bonnie, this is a book. People need to read this. People need to get this. And she said, no. This is all just common sense. And I looked at her in my best. I said, to you, it's common sense to you. And she's like, and she couldn't wrap her mind around, having, that kind of, she couldn't live in a world where people didn't just understand this. And so that I have spent the last, 16 years showing her, no, people love having this in their lives. So.
Well done, babe. There's a whole lot of people out there very grateful to you for nudging me into making this happen,
Yeah.
including me. So one of the things that we learned about you pretty early on in your acting career and early on in my casting career is that you have a secret superpower for making people's stories better. You are what's called in showbiz a script doctor.
Yep.
Can you talk about how you learned maybe even it's before you came into my life, you knew you had the ability to improve a story. Can you talk about what it is that you do?
Sure. First of all, anytime I hear somebody say anything, I always try to think of I can't help but think of other ways that it could be said better, more powerfully, whatever. Also, I'm a 12 years Jesuit educated. Grammar is my life. I'm dyslexic, so spelling's not so good, but grammar is my life. But also, when I hear somebody telling a story, I drink it in, and it's sort of I picture it in my head, and things wrap around. But let me tell you the story of how I actually learned that script doctoring is a thing you could do. And again, this is going back to mine and Bonnie's early relationship. Bonnie started casting in 2004, and
You don't do time, Pisces. Don't do time.
and basically what happened was she started casting for Fox in big TV show, reality TV type stuff. And one of the things that she found was she sort of had a distaste for the corporate environment. And she also worked for the Sundance Institute, and her job was to set up their archives. So she would contact filmmakers who won awards and had their films exhibited at Sundance.
The entire population of the 20 years of Sundance to that point, my job was to contact every single filmmaker who had ever screened at Sundance and get an archive of the film print put into the archives at UCLA. So talk about building my show Bible. This would have been in 2000, 2001. I'm building my show Bible by calling up filmmakers who played at Sundance in the first 2 decades that Sundance existed. It was a great job.
So what she learned from those things, both what she doesn't want and what she does enjoy, is that she wanted to be a casting director for indie films, people who are just deep in it and scrapping and making things work, however you can make them work. And so she was working with scrappy, independent, sometimes first or second time filmmakers who didn't know you could hire a casting director, really. And she had relationships from her work at Backstage and her work in casting, and with agents and actors and all kinds of filmmaker types. And what she did was she had the ability to get scripts that otherwise would not be in front of named talent, in front of named talent. Part of the problem is first or second time filmmakers often don't have their scripts formatted correctly. They also often don't have spelling or punctuation correct or things like that. And so as part of my job with Bonnie in that was I would take a script and that she had agreed to cast, and I would go through it and I would correct anything in the script that could take somebody who was reading that script out of it. So punctuation, grammar, spelling, just regular, turning my Jesuit education into a valuable skill for us. Because one of the things you don't want is to send a script over to Gersh because it was requested by the actor for us to look at, and have the reader over at Gersh taken out of it
Yeah.
because the script is written poorly. I mean, actually written poorly. And so we did that for a year, 2 years, five, six, half a dozen films.
And this was something that wasn't even a service. It was just, I know if I'm going to try and get access to a name actor, and I'm going to leverage my relationships, which are everything, especially when you're starting out, that your reputation's all you have. I'm going to tell them this is a good story that's worth their time to read on behalf of that actor that I want access to for this tiny budget film. That script needs to not waste their time. And I couldn't say that and send over the scripts as they were a lot of the times. So we started asking them. We started saying, do you mind if my boyfriend takes a stab at cleaning up some of the dialogue, some of the stage directions? Can we get in there? And usually they were flattered and honored that you would help.
Right. And so basically what happened was over the course of the time that Bonnie was building her reputation of casting low budget indie festival darlings, I mean, just really beautiful projects, I started developing the reputation. It went from correcting spelling and grammar to, hey, I see these plot holes here and here and here. Can we talk about this? And so then I would talk to them about their script and their story and find out that the plot holes came from things they had to cut out because of X, Y, or Z. So I got really good at it. And again, this is my education coming back to, I find and can nitpick all kinds of weird things, but then my creative brain would suggest fixes. So over those years, it went from something to help Bonnie get these scripts in front of higher level agents than we could otherwise, to a service that we offered that is like, okay, in order for Bonnie, because she now had a reputation that she was getting sought after by so many people, in order to get Bonnie to cast her script, I had to look at it, read it, and okay it.
I wouldn't even read the script until Keith had done a pass of it.
And so basically so I basically leveraged my wife's success to build my own reputation as somebody who could doctor your script. And I remember it was like 2008-ish where I got hired by this guy to doctor his script. And I sent him my first draft and said, okay, take a look at this first draft and let me know what you think. And I didn't hear from him and didn't hear from him and didn't hear from him and didn't hear from him. And then like 6 months later, he was going to be in LA and wanted to meet me for breakfast. So I met him for breakfast. And the first words he said to me were, "You changed every word in my script and absolutely none of the meaning. I don't know how you do that, but thank you." And he took his name off as writer and put mine on. So I got writing credit for a thing that I actually just doctored. And that's always a lot of fun when that happens.
Can you flash us forward to, in fact, this week with this particular project?
So I found out, I guess, was it yesterday or a couple of days ago? Yesterday. I found out yesterday that script, which got produced, won an award in a film festival just recently, got picked up for distribution, and was nominated for 12 awards, including Best Script, Best Writing, at a Hollywood North International Film Festival, which is a Canadian doohickey thing. But yeah, that's how I got into it. That's how I learned I had a talent for it. And now this light is bothering me, so I'm going to change my lighting.
Yes, fix your lighting. Totally good. Give us some mood lighting. And you also have not just doctored scripts, but written scripts as originals. And you did one that took you to Comic-Con.
I wrote a Dungeons and Dragons script.
You got to bring your life's passion into your screenwriting.
Let me tell a little bit of a story about that, because I was approached by a client of Bonnie's, a friend of ours, who said, "Hey, Keith, I want to talk to you about the script. I want to write this Dungeons and Dragons thing that happened to me and my Dungeons and Dragons crew." And I met her for a coffee, and we talked about her story idea, and I got really jazzed about it. I said, hey, you know what? I'm feeling really stoked about this. Can I have a couple of days to rough out a story for us to consider? And I wrote a 12-page script in about 4 hours. And I sent it to her and said, here's the first draft. Here you go. She loved it. We workshopped it a little bit. And again, it's Dungeons and Dragons. At the time, Dungeons and Dragons was owned by Wizards of the Coast. You know, Wizards of the Coast has since been bought by Hasbro, but this is sort of before that. Wizards of the Coast is notorious for not giving away anything. And if they do, they make you pay a lot of money.
And what he's talking about here, y'all, is about having the right to even use the phrase Dungeons and Dragons versus our game night or our mystical travels. Or you'll hear people use phrases that don't mean, or what they mean. It's kind of like you can't say the Super Bowl, you have to say the big game. So he's talking about those kinds of rights and permissions and clearances, which can be incredibly expensive.
And so the producer of this little short film wrote to Wizards of the Coast and said, hey, we've got this thing. It is a zero budget thing, but we want to do it. We want it to be authentic as possible. Can we please have the right to use your intellectual property? And we heard back from them that they liked the story, they loved the script, and we were welcome to use any Wizards of the Coast property that we felt was necessary to tell the story. So we got to use Dungeons and Dragons artwork. I wholesale copied and pasted bits from the Dungeon Master's Guide into the script. So we used verbatim words out of the rule book and submitted it to Comic-Con, and Comic-Con said, Wizards of the Coast let you use all this? And we sent them a copy of the letter, and they said, hey, welcome to Comic-Con. So we were part of Comic-Con's 50th anniversary film festival. And that was one of the highlights of my writing career, was having, that we were up on stage. It's really cool. Oh my God, so cool.
So then how did this translate into some of what you spend a good amount of time doing now, which is we'll have a client, I'll have a client who needs more material on their reel, and they need to show something that aligns with their true north, that maybe just is underrepresented on their reel, but they need footage to get the agent, to get the opportunity. And you do a lot of writing on that sort of stuff.
Sure. So let's talk about one of my character flaws, and that is lack of attention span.
You're doing great, by the way, so far.
Thank you. I have a serious lack of attention span. It is daunting to have all of the worlds going on in my head all at once. But one of the things that I do really, really well is when I meet somebody, I get a feel for their energy. And, once you understand somebody's type and brand, I can throw that type and brand into a world and, write a page or 3 pages or 5 pages in 20 minutes that is on brand for them. At the same time, my script doctoring expertise allows me to say, okay, you're looking for your first sort of networky co-star thing. So you don't need 3 pages of a scene. What you need is 2 or 3 lines of dialogue that service someone else. And so I'll talk somebody into doing something that's on brand for where they are headed, but not way, way, way up, 2-3 years from now, something that they could reasonably book in the next week or the next 6 months or the next year. And I'll write them 3 really awesome on brand lines in a 5/8 or 6/8 of a page, 30-second thing that they can shoot for their reel. That's sort of not focused on them, but it's exactly what somebody would hire them to do. And it's really easy for me to knock those out. And so what I do with people who have been through Bonnie's Self-Management for Actors course, or read their book, or go through the 100-day course, Getting Gear for the Next Year, if you guys don't know about it, highly recommend. Once you've been through that, we discuss true north and where you're headed, and honestly what your type and brand are, and how to, instead of fixating on those things, just come to understand who you are, get comfortable being who you are, understanding how that plays in the industry, and then not being insulted when I hand you 3 lines that are you servicing someone else in a scene, but instead going, yes, this is exactly what I need. And so it evolved such that I will knock out a scene for you and you pay me a nominal fee. And because I know how to produce things, I will write a 1-room,
Yes,
very, easy to produce, easy to light, easy to shoot, hard to mess up the sound, nothing horribly substantial, but on point piece of material. And so far, I think just about everybody's really, really happy with the stuff that they get. So
tell us where, and I know time is a bizarre concept for you, but tell us where you see us headed in creating the Hollywood we want. And it can be we, you and me, it can be we Ninjaverse, it can be we the world.
okay, so let me praise for a second. I don't know how many Marvel Universe people there are who are going to be watching this, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier just wrapped. And they did some amazing racism in America work in 3 of the 6 episodes. They wrote some just absolutely spot on Baltimore racist cop stuff, and having this older Black gentleman telling our hero of the story, the guy that plays the Falcon, they won't let a Black man be Captain America, and no self-respecting Black man would ever want to be. The writer's room for that show is half Black.
Which we should note does not happen.
So that showrunner did some really beautiful things. So I love that. I think we're headed there. I also follow a bunch of professional, higher level writers than I am. Guys, remember, my career is compared to, the dream.
What,
I help pay our rent. I support Bonnie. So, my life is full. I'm happy. I'm happy where I am. I don't need any more than this to be successful. I am successful.
He's still bringing in residuals off acting work he did a decade and a half ago. We're good. Yeah.
But I've heard, I follow a bunch of professional writers, TV writers on Twitter, and I follow their conversations and get in on their conversations. And one of the ones I recall from 3 or 4 weeks ago is this woman writer. She said, I walked into the room today. This is the first TV gig I've gotten where there are more women than men in the room.
Because that's another thing that this doesn't happen, is easy to say about. Times are changing.
And then she said some cute little flippant things like, I can wear cute outfits and I can cry every day at work, and I don't have to worry about getting hit on, or I don't have to worry about, is my outfit cute enough that they'll take me seriously, but not so cute that they'll hit on me. And having those conversations, I want to give us credit, because the fact that those conversations can happen in public is a huge step up from pre-Harvey Weinstein getting called out.
For sure.
The fact that we can talk about Rose McGowan, being right in all of her accusations, and B, not being completely sane. You know, we can talk about both of those things being true at the same time, is a huge step forward from where we were even 5 years ago. You know,
Absolutely.
she had her career destroyed
Because she chose to speak up about what was happening.
because she chose to get loud.
And people could make it
And
very easy by saying, "Oh, well, she's mentally ill, she's crazy, she's a wackadoodle." Put whatever labels on her that would make it so that you could just go, "What?" about what she's saying, rather than going, she can very definitely have these issues and also have every single one of those accusations be true, and how much of those things fed into her mental health issues.
right, and so it's she's a victim of trauma, guys. I mean,
Absolutely.
come on. Now at the same time, let's be out there about stuff. I am currently in therapy for PTSD and some other fun stuff like being paranoid. That's hilarious, by the way.
So much
And but the fact that we can be out about, and the reason I said that just now is because we need to normalize mental health concerns in this country, and we need to make being in therapy just what healthy people do. I am so much better than I was 3 years ago when I started with my therapist. Please know that being able to talk about hard subjects out in public and normalizing the discussion of, let's get more women, let's get more people of color, let's get some queer and some trans people in, let's do that at the same time. And man, so I'm going to say some things, and let's talk about white fragility for a second, because the reality, so let's go to the quote. Equality feels like oppression when you are used to privilege, which, by the way, is the definition of white fragility, in case anybody's curious. The feelings that people who are established white folks in the industry have with the coming diversity that is hopefully upon us much sooner than all of those people want. Please understand that their concern is based on the fact that they feel it's a zero-sum game.
correct.
They think for other people to get ahead, they have to lose. And so let's talk about white fragility for a second, because the reality is we can either make this a tough fight and there will be tooth and nail and crap, or we can work at having some empathy for these privileged people who are terrified that they're going to be destroyed. And what we can do is we can use the empathy that we have from all of the trauma. And I'm saying we, sort of not meaning me, because I am white, cis, hetero, male.
But
So I don't mean me when I say we.
you're not meaning you demographically, but you are meaning yourself in the artistic community, the creative community that wants growth in the right direction.
Correct. I am we only in that I am trying very hard to be a cheerleader and an ally, and being support without being the white savior, which
Yes.
is another thing that we have to be able to talk about. Where do we draw the lines? We don't know yet, because we've just been able recently to be able to talk about this stuff in public.
And we're going to get it wrong. And I think not
Gonna
being
get it wrong.
afraid of getting it wrong is at the core of being a good ally.
It is also part of being a good, BIPOC, really. Being a collective that wants to see more integration and collectiveness means having empathy and sympathy for more and more and more people. Even the people who are currently in power, who are terrified that they will lose power by sharing power. This is another thing that we have to convince them, that sharing power does not mean surrendering their power. They can have all the power too.
It's tough. The worldview is very Well, it's hustle culture. It's the patriarchal set point. It is capitalism. It's it's colonialism. All of it comes from a position of if you get some, I get less, and so there's this very real fear of what happens when I'm not in power. And to label it correctly, I think is so important to know that it's fear, it's scarcity mindset, and just staying in a place of abundance and knowing there's always going to be plenty of work for everybody. Don't worry, white people, you're still going to work plenty at the time. All right, like seriously. But
Well, let's
it's just that now you're going to be given a no that's actually meaningful. You're going to be told, I can't cast you because we're going ethnic with this role. And that's a phrase that white people have complained about forever. But now it's actually going to mean because we're making a difference, because we actually are using more roles to tell more stories in more diverse ways and more equitable ways. And so yay that you're actually getting a stopper that means there's change happening right now. But again, if you're in a scarcity mindset, that's harder to do than to
yeah,
say.
yeah. It's along the lines of, hey, hearing person who works as an ASL translator, we're not casting you because you can hear.
Yeah.
We're going to cast an actual deaf person because there are nuances that even as a hearing person you don't get, and we want that sort of image. And the production may actually just want to be able to advertise, hey, we hired an actual deaf person. But you know what? At this point in our history, I don't care what their reason
I'll
is.
take
I
it.
want
That's
them
a
to
win.
hire more deaf people. I will take it, because the reality is breaking down the wall takes some bloody knuckles sometimes. But once the wall is broken down, you can build an archway and people can travel through. And so we're not at the archway yet, but we are working on punching some walls. And I think that we have to be okay that that's where we are. I think that we have to not. What's another phrase that I love hearing? Being privileged doesn't mean that it's not hard and that there's no struggle. Being privileged just means that you have less of a struggle than people who are not. And we have to get okay with the fact that it's hard. And you know what? If it is something like a zero sum game, sorry, let me digress for a second. I remember walking the picket lines for the writer strike back in 2008, 2009. Somebody referenced that for me, where the internet, YouTube was just a couple of years old, and we were talking about all of the video platforms that the industry were trying to get to. And the people who were there walking the lines came to understand this notion of soon it's just going to be beams and screens. It's going to be beams and screens. It's not going to be television anymore. It's not going to be network versus cable versus this, that. It's going to be beams and screens. Now 10 plus years later, it's Disney Plus and Hulu Plus and Amazon, and all of that stuff came to fruition. But I remember talking while we were on the picket lines about the fact that the people who are paying money, the producers, capital P producers in the contract negotiations, the AMPTP, for people who want to look it up, for them, the money isn't the thing. Because we were talking about, they could do some low budget productions and just put them up on the web and run low end commercials, and they could make so much more money. They could put every writer, every camera crew, every actor who was in LA who wanted to work, they could put them to work at union wages on union jobs if they could just get out of their heads that what they would be surrendering is a little bit of creative control. And we came to the understanding that the guys who are running things right now, they don't care about creating and creating more and creating good and creating better. They care about the control. And the phrase that got stuck with me was, they would rather have 85% of $100 than 50% of $1,000.
That's right.
Because for them, 85 is more than 50.
That's right.
and that's a thing that that's the thing I think we have to fight, because the reality is the reason that there is still racism and sexism and misogyny and all of those prejudice against LGBTQ plus folks, all of that, the reason that people want to work with who they want to work with, and that means people who look like them, rather than opening up to things they don't understand, is because if they open it up, what happens if something they don't understand is more popular than they are? And that's the fear that keeps it all locked down. So moving forward, what we have to do is we have to not let them hold us back. We have to make it so that they come to understand they have as much control as they need. They can create wonderful, wonderful things. Kevin Feige is doing a great job with Marvel. Again, I'm going to sing Marvel's praises on this. Disney is doing a great job telling these wonderful, intricate stories that are about what it means to be human. And it's just beautiful by not being afraid of telling different stories. There's the old adage where they let white dudes fail as directors and writers and producers and showrunners. They let them fail, but a woman or a black man, or God forbid, a black woman, Shonda Rhimes, can't fail. They can't fail, because if they do, they never get another shot. We need to change that notion too. We need to let people know that the creative journey is not all successes.
Honey, I could listen to you talk forever, and I am so glad that.
Does that mean that time's up?
I am so glad I have signed myself up to listen to you talk forever. We are going to bring this to a close. Please let everyone know where they can plug in with you, keep up with you, reach out to you.
My Twitter handle is Acting Keith, but I don't really post there. I curate the universe that is me. So like things in my Twitter feed that I think you need to know, I retweet or mock or whatever. I have a website called writingwithyourjohnson.com, and it is exactly the crude joke you think it is. But I don't think that I've updated that in a while. Twitter is probably the best place. Oh, I know where you can follow me, BonnieGillespie.com, because Bonnie writes about our interactions, and I don't really have a life outside of Bonnie and Dungeons and Dragons.
So not true. Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, that's good. All right, that's fair enough. All right.
Anybody out there who wants to be in an online Dungeons and Dragons campaign with me, my email address is gamerdude at johnsonforhire.com. Email me. I have a world that I want to run. It's going to be great. Please, let's do this. Now she's laughing.
Because I don't even know this email address. That's how secret this life is.
My girlfriend is laughing at me.
Always.
Oh my God, what am I going to do?
Always.
What am I going to do? I'm going to have a great relationship. I have a wonderful relationship. She is, guys, if you don't know her, she's the best. So amazing, so wonderful. Wait. Lastly, let me plug Getting Gear for the Next Year, which is Bonnie's 100-day program that I wrote most of. And it will teach you to care about your life as little as I care about my life. And it will make you exactly as happy as I appear to be happy right now. So please, yes. It will change your life. Day 3 changes your life. Day 4 changes your life. Day 86 is my favorite day. Oh wait, day 10 is my favorite day.
I love you, honey.
Love you.
Thank you, Keith Johnson, for being a part of the Hollywood we're creating together, and for being a part of the SMFA Summit.
Bye, guys.
What else is there to say? What can I say? What? Let's hear it in the chat. what are your big takeaways from my boyfriend, Keith? Yes, West, I'm totally like, come on, come on. The longest talk of the summit. And Stephanie's over here going, I didn't even realize time had passed. Like, that is, you live in a world with the Pisces that is Keith, or all Pisces. And it's like, what is time? What is time? What is time? Care less. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Humanity, Kevin, for sure. For sure. Yes, yes, yes. What's your most useful Keithism, Kelly? Care less? Yeah. It's pretty good. It is never wrong. Like, I'll bitch about a thing and Keith will go, you know what'll help with that? And I'm like, yeah, I know. Because the answer is care less. Every time. Anything I want to get upset about. You know what'll help with that? Care less. Yes. What else? What else? What else? First, I love married people calling each other boyfriend and girlfriend. Keith gets in trouble for that. He'll refer to me as his girlfriend out in the world, and someone will like correct him, like standing up for me, and I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like I am still his girlfriend. Nothing has changed. I'm also still his best friend. Nothing has changed. Like we got married. Okay. He's also my business partner. Like, we don't list every single identity that we have with one another every time. We use them interchangeably. It doesn't matter. But yeah, that's my boyfriend. That's my boyfriend. Break down the wall. I'm in. Suparna, yes. Good. We do love Pisces, Veronica. We really do. We all need Pisces in our lives. Yes. Big takeaway, Raven. Just listen to Bonnie. Keith, did you get that? Did you get that? Big takeaway from Raven. Just listen to Bonnie. That's the takeaway from the Keith interview. Emily says, I always go back to Keith's energetic signatures. Donnie's looking forward to some Keith Dr. Magic. They're afraid of losing power, Rihanna says, and would settle for 80% of less than 50% of more. Correct, because the 80's bigger. Yeah, in their mind, it's the percentage that makes a difference, not the actual bottom line. The energy of this talk is my biggest takeaway. I did write down, is it common sense or common sense to you? Yeah, Stephanie, that's a good one for you as well. That's a good one for you as well. Yes, yes, yes. Happy wife, happy life. Donnie, you know it. You know it. Keith, you survived. You survived. He does not like doing this. You saw it, like the second I was like, honey, I could talk to you forever. He's like, does that mean we're done? Like, he's just so ready to be done. He doesn't like the spotlight much, but we were joking before going and getting the second vaccine. I was joking with my PT / Pilates trainer, and we were joking about, like, okay, let's say I die. We're just playing it out because I'm having all this anxiety. So I'm like, let's play it out. I die. And the good news is, Keith could technically run the self-management for actors empire without people noticing I'm gone for a good long while. Like, because he's got this. Except the problem is he at some point would have to come on camera. At some point, it would be clear that it wasn't me, because I do an awful lot of on-camera stuff, and that is not his thing. But he's not such a fan of that. But yes, for those who want to explore writing with Keith, as I mentioned, there is a fantastic set of, I think he's doing 3 giveaways in the giveaway page. So go link below, grab the transcript, yes, but also down below that there is a link to our giveaways and deals and promos and bonuses page. And you will find giveaways from Judy Kerr. You'll find giveaways from Brian Wold here of Casting About. Amelia's got goodies there. Who else? Who else has some goodies? Let me look. Because we got speakers in here. We got people who are a part of JFDI with Bond who've got giveaways. Rihanna's got goodies. Like, go check out that page. And if you want to put your hat in the ring to get one of Keith's slots, pitch yourself, because he's going to choose who he's going to meet with. And I told him last night, I was like, you're probably going to end up meeting with more people than just a few. And he's like, great, sounds good. And he also is now putting another email address into the chat. If you want to work with him in a writing capacity, you can email writing@cricketfeet.com. Yeah, Katie was like, it was Katie or Kelly who was like, I didn't even know this was a thing that was offered. Maybe I think it was Kelly. We were talking to Katie earlier. And he's actually got it up on our website that he'll do a scene service, he'll do a short film service. Yeah, okay, Kelly, thank you. He's got those available through our website. The Man of Many Hats, and apparently a ton of email addresses, right, Rihanna? I I know. It's true. He has a ton. Power of rock solid partnerships. You two are a dream team on every level. Emily, thank you. Thank you. We have our issues. We go to couples counseling every couple of weeks, and Keith jokes that it's the time 2 times a month when he has 2 women telling him how wrong he is. It's relationship gem. We go work out. If you want to stay healthy, you work out. If you want to keep a relationship healthy, you work out. If you want to keep sobriety healthy, you work out. Like I have a sober coach. Like it's like you work at the things that you want to keep healthy. And so I'm glad that y'all enjoy our relationship. Please know, like everything, relationships are managed. Relationships with our partners, our parents, our kids, our lovers, our friends, our agents. Relationships are managed. Relationships are managed. All right, you beautiful people. This was a long one. We are going to meet up tomorrow. Hold up. Tomorrow, day 4. Tomorrow, we will do 2 sessions late in the afternoon. So I'm sorry, Europe. This was the only time I could get these people available to be here live for the chat. And we're actually iffy on the last one because we have Sheila Houlihan, who is a tier skipper. Like, she's one of those folks who didn't do the linear thing. Not that showbiz is all that linear, but she didn't do the linear thing. She actually skipped tiers. And we're going to talk about what that looks like and how you have to have the enoughness to be able to suddenly go like, oh, crap, I didn't get to go the, background co-star, guest star, recurring series lead. I went from first word on a set to offer only. Like, what's the enoughness journey of that without a lot of time between those two? We're going to talk about that with Sheila Houlihan. We're also going to talk with Mary Lou Belli, multi-Emmy winning director, Mary Lou Belli, and she is on the set, on location of the latest thing that she's been hired to direct. So we scheduled this after they're supposed to wrap tomorrow, which means she should be able to come back to the hotel and chat with us, but we'll see. Anyway, that's tomorrow. So tomorrow's big day. We are going to continue to have, that's at 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock Pacific, if I didn't mention the times yet. And then on Saturday, we have 3 premieres. We have 4 premieres on Sunday. Like, we are nonstop until the 28th. Please just remember, you have access to all the replays through the end of the month with the links that are below. Make sure you grab the transcripts. Make sure you check out the deals. We would love to welcome you in the dojo for 100 days of our live round coming up, getting gear for the next year. Please give yourselves more hugs, more love. One more big round of applause for my partner, my publisher, my husband, my best friend, Keith Johnson, my boyfriend. Would you please give him a little bit more love in the chat and watch Amelia on Grey's tonight? Yes, definitely. I love you, beautiful people. You're doing great work. Remember to let all this soak in. Take good care of yourself. Love y'all. Bye.